For most people, it's easy to sit on the couch. The only bad workout is the one you don't do.
Fitness doesn't always elicit a lot of excitement for most people. If you have a disability, how do you convince them that exercise is important? How do you get them off the couch? Because listen, it is much easier to say, I don't want to exercise, I want to stay at home all day, and I don't want to do anything. How do we shift that mindset for people is what we do day in, day out.
Spartans, listen up.
We need to sleep better. So how do you sleep better? Never thought about it before. And so I met Jack, I met Essentia. Pay attention to the mattress you sleep on because it's loaded with chemicals.
Recovery, cooling, and pressure relief, all in one mattress. Up to 60% more deep and REM sleep. Less inflammation, faster bounce back. No toxins, no EMFs, no BS.
My buddy Jack over at Essentia, he's kind enough to give us a code for the Spartan community. That's DECA, that's Tough Mudder, all of us. Use Spartan25, get a discount. Prioritize your sleep so you can sleep faster, you can do more burpees, you can train more, you can get healthier. When you sleep well, you live well.
Joe De Sena, CEO and founder of Spartan, host of the Hard Way podcast. I got my buddy Jake Weiner on. He is the owner of ZOOZ Fitness. They do some really cool shit. You're basically a gym for adaptive athletes, yes?
Correct. Absolutely.
And you've done 4 Spartan races.
I have 4 Spartan races personally, definitely.
You obviously are active as hell. How hard is it to train? You know, you're an adaptive athlete. Is it difficult in a regular gym? You need special equipment, or tell me about how you get it done.
I think it really depends on the type of disability that you work with. A lot of our folks have physical disabilities, but also autism, Down syndrome, learning challenges. The biggest thing is meeting the athlete where they're at. So if they're coming in with these set of challenges, how do we adapt the movement to meet their needs? So we in particular at our gym don't have any specialized equipment. It really comes down to the coaching and the cueing. And when an athlete comes in, what do they need in that moment, in that day, for training for a Spartan race, training for everyday life? So for us, it really comes down to how do we coach? How do we connect with each individual and then tailor a program that meets their needs?
It's a very customized solution, one-on-one. How do folks pay you, or is it a 501(c)(3)?
No, so we're a for-profit business, but something really cool in the realm of disability, there's something called regional center. Regional centers help fund services for what we do. So parents don't have to pay out of pocket.
How many athletes are in the gym at any given time? Is it more of a one-on-one service?
One-on-one and small group classes. So we could have anywhere from 20 to 50 athletes here at a given time, plus staff, plus parents, plus coaches. So the real buzz and energy of the space is really cool.
For most people, it's easy to sit on the couch. You're an adaptive athlete. You're probably in your own head feeling sorry for yourself maybe in some ways. Tell me if I'm wrong. And it's a little easier to sit on a couch.
There's a few things. I think when we think about fitness and exercise and being healthy, fitness doesn't always elicit a lot of excitement for most people. If you have a disability or not, exercise is not something, unless you're a coach or love Spartan races or love obstacle courses or love being active, it doesn't elicit a lot of excitement. So us as coaches, how do we find a way to shift the mindset in someone with a disability? They have X, Y, and Z challenges. They don't see people in their everyday life who have similar challenges. How do you convince them that exercise is important? How do you get them off the couch? Because listen, it is much easier to say, I don't want to exercise, I want to stay at home all day and I don't want to do anything, right? We know that there's a plethora of complications, challenges that come with a lifestyle that's not active. But how do we shift that mindset for people is what we do day in, day out.
You probably smile ear to ear when somebody shows up for the first time. It's not the economics. I'm putting words in your mouth. It's not the economics. It's just the fact that they got through a tremendous obstacle getting from where they are to you.
We joke with parents all the time. Parents will come into our studio and they'll say this line, and it happens every single time. My son or daughter hates exercise. They're not going to want to do this. And I go and that's where the smile comes in, they laugh. I go, give me one session, give me one group class, give me one private session. Let me reframe that in your head. So for us, it's all about reframing. Mom and dad comes in, or even the athlete themselves, they come in with a certain mindset of this is too hard. I can't do this. No one with my disability can do X, Y, or Z. But that's where the beauty comes in. Changing that mindset from day one, because once we do that day one, then we have them for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and it completely shifts their mindset. And then they've been someone who sits on the couch to someone who's doing a Spartan race. It's something really cool day in, day out that we get to change the lives of our athletes, but also parents who, again, come in with this mindset is my son or daughter can't do this. And my philosophy is, why not? Have they ever tried?
So what have you learned, aside from the fact that none of us want to exercise, what have you learned as far as tips and tricks that we could apply to our own, our own lives at home that maybe inspire us or motivate us or give us some discipline? What could we do?
One core thing that I always like to tell parents and our athletes, this idea of try. You never know if you're going to enjoy something. You never know if you're going to love something if you don't give it the opportunity. So we urge all of our families, like they come and they say, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. They're not going to love it. Try it. Because what happens 9 times out of 10, or even 9.9 out of 10, is they'll try something that is hard, a battle rope, a med ball throw, box jumps, whatever the exercise is, it doesn't matter. But when they try something that's slightly difficult, something outside their comfort zone, magic happens. So I think the one thing is to try. And I love this idea of reframing. I talk to my coaches about this. I talk to our athletes, parents. It's all about how you reframe things. So like everyone has challenges in their life, whether it be professional, personal, friendship, whatever it might be. We all have challenges. How do we reframe that? We can't avoid those challenges, those hard things. We can't avoid that. But what can we do in our mindset to make a shift that there is opportunity in every single challenge that we have? So that's something I stress, to try to shift that mindset. And it's not easy, but I think when you're in an environment, and this is another thing too, put yourself in an environment that is supportive, that there are people there that are energetic and excited about those hard things, like a gym, right? Fitness is hard. But if you're in a space that coaches are energetic and you're coming in, I'm saying hi to you, I'm cheering you, I'm high-fiving you, I'm encouraging a certain movement pattern. Again, there's really beautiful things that happen when you create opportunity, when you try things, and when you surround yourself with people that uplift you. And these are all very cliche, but so true. And we see it time and time again here.
The ancient Spartans, I had the fortune of spending some time with the preeminent professors around Sparta. And they said their lives back then were hard just because general life was very hard back then. But the way the Spartans wanted to live, the way we read about in the books or see in the movies, that was a pretty rugged life. And so as you can imagine, most of them wanted to quit, right? Who wants to live this way? Who wants to battle every day and train from 7 years old? But what they found were the people that were on the team, the people that were motivated to live in that environment, as long as they all were bought in, then everybody was in, right? It's no different than a wrestling team or your gym or whatever. So I love the idea of community with an aligned mission, right? Like, this is what we do. I love the perspective shift idea. For me personally, my perspective shift comes in one sentence, like, it could be worse. I get to do this. A lot of people don't get to do this, right? So that's the way I shift my perspective, because anything worthwhile sucks. It's fucking hard.
This idea, it could be worse, is so indicative to what we do here. We see athletes with disabilities of all kinds, sensory, developmental, physical, whatever they're coming in with is oftentimes more challenging than what I have faced in the morning. Just showing up today, putting on, your shirt to work out, getting ready, lacing up your shoes. The battle that some of our athletes face to get in here, and it's exactly that mindset, that mind shift. My morning was pretty easy. I have 2 young kids. I work out early in the morning. I have my sets of challenges, but this idea could be worse. It rings home so true to what we do. And I think if you're in a situation where this sucks, I can't do this, it's a never ending loop, and you've got to find a way to stop that and retrain your mind to think of it could be worse. Or, the person next to you has it much harder than you do. Who are you to complain about this?
No, that's right. That's right. The person to your right and your left. I grew up, a lot of guys ended up in jail, and some guys are in over 30 years. And I say to myself, they'd do anything to be able to do this hard thing that I'm doing right now, right? Or that person that's dead, that family member that died, that they would do anything to be able to do this hard thing that I'm complaining about right now. So I love that. And then I love the idea. How do you feel about you got to make it a ritual, right? It's got to be a thing that's repeatable over and over. And yes, life's going to get in the way, but like, this is what we do. We brush our teeth in the morning. Whatever the things are, we eat dinner at this time, right? Like, we go to the gym, we work out, we sweat.
I'm laughing inside because this is something as coaches, as trainers, for me, working out, I wake up at 5 a.m. every day. I have 2 young kids again, so I got to get them ready. In order for me to get my session, I have to wake up early. So it's ingrained in me, like brushing your teeth, like eating dinner, I go to the gym. But when you talk to anyone who doesn't have that mindset set up already, they're like, you're absolutely insane. I'm not waking up early before everyone else to go work out, to do something hard. Everything else is a must. I got to brush my teeth. I got to go, make breakfast. I got to take the kids to school. 100%. It has to be ritual. And all of the science and research is there with exercise, with weight loss, getting stronger. It's got to be consistent. So like the weekend warrior who does one workout like every Saturday, cool. That's better than nothing. But if you want to see results, it has to be consistent. And if you want it to be long term, it's got to be a routine. And there's tons of things about habit development and how we create those routines. But yeah, that's an absolute must. But it's, unless you're in this world, it's so hard to convince someone exercise is got to be a part of your routine. It's got to be.
One of the greatest sentences for me that I've been repeating to people lately is the only bad workout is the one you don't do. I've done some crazy things where I've wanted to quit along the way. They were but when they're over, I feel 1,000 times better than when I started. So I had my buddy Grant Hill, a famous basketball player. I ran into him Saturday morning. My girls had soccer. So Saturday morning, I came down from the hotel room and he was having a cup of coffee. And I saw him. I didn't know he was going to be there. And I go, you getting a workout in? He goes, I'm going for a walk. I said, I'll come with you. And we started walking. And I said, hey, Grant, why don't we do some lunges? Like, we'll stop every so often and we'll do some lunges on the walk. And then, I said, hey, Grant, how about we do some push-ups? And before you know it, this thing turned into a complete sufferfest. We almost missed the girls' soccer, but like when we were done, we were flying high. Like of course you felt, you know what I mean? Like, so I get it. How long do the athletes you have stay with you? Do you see a tap out rate? Do you see people tapping out?
The beauty of what we do, our athletes stay with. I've had some athletes for 8 years now, 9 years. There's no one really doing what we're doing with in the adaptive space, but I think even more so, it's the mindset. Our athletes are not coming back to do more squats, to do more push-ups. They're just not. They're coming back to be in a space that they feel welcome and encouraged. And again, putting yourself in an environment of people who care about you, who have a similar vision, mission, energy is everything. Again, like I don't think I can tell you one athlete who says, oh yeah, I love doing squats in the gym. Like, no, it's not a thing. I do the squats because I love being at the space.
Jake, I always love talking to people like you because you've got stuff in your little laboratory. You're seeing things. You're seeing stuff that works, stuff that doesn't work. What else could we take from you and apply to our own homes to maybe level us up?
I think a big thing that we often tell our athletes, this idea of exercise does not have to be a grandiose circuit training, hour-long functional movement. Exercise can be the smallest of things. Taking a walk, gardening, doing laundry, household things, being out with friends. So that's something I think a lot of families and athletes come to us. I'm not someone who exercises. I'm not an athlete. We refer to all of our clients as athletes. And this idea of a mindset shift that each athlete can do something. So even if something as simple as a walk to get outdoors is something that we encourage every day. Do something where you're not sitting, where you're being mobile, you're being out, you're getting outside, you're being surrounded by people. That I think is the most important part about exercise as a whole. Exercise has a very broad term for us. As long as you're doing something that is adjacent to movement, we are totally cool with.
Sneakers on. I had a guy say to me, I was at a conference once. He goes, you taught me something, sneakers on. I go, what do you mean? He goes, I just got to get my sneakers on. If I can get them on in the morning, that might lead to a walk. That walk might lead to burpees. Who knows what race I end up doing, but I got to get my sneakers on.
I love that. Sneakers or even barefoot walking. If you're outside and you don't need sneakers, as long as you're moving your body. And then I think one other thing I think that ties into movement, if you put it on the calendar as an event, something that's been helpful in my personal life, my workouts 5 a.m. are on the calendar every single day. Even if I miss, it's on the calendar. So everyone says, I don't have time for it. You do have time if it's on your calendar.
Oh, I like that. I like that because that's a big message from us is once you put it on the calendar, you'll do the work to get it. You're going one step further and saying, all the steps required to get you to the race should be on the calendar. Anything you're trying to optimize your life for, you should have on the calendar. I like that.
Shoes on. It's a really easy way to think about it. Everyone looks at their calendar. Everyone's on their phone, right? Technology is important. If you can look at your phone and check your calendar, I got a workout today. It just makes it, easy for people to see.
Jake, tell us the most transformational story you've seen as you've been working with these adaptive athletes.
So there's always one story that I like to share. This happened about 6 years ago. A mother emailed me and said, "Hey, my son can't come to ZOOZ today. He's got a birthday. We're taking him to Disneyland," I think it was, or there was a theme park. So I said, "Sure, no problem. We'll make sure we see him next week." An hour later, mom sends me an email back saying, "Listen, I offered the theme park. It falls on the same time and day as your class. My son is refusing to go to Disneyland because he wants to come to a ZOOZ class." It took me a moment. I processed it. And it's this idea of he has a routine that every Wednesday, let's say, he comes to a ZOOZ class. He works out. That was more important to him than missing going to a theme park. He ended up going to the theme park like a week later on a different day. But that for me was so huge that like what we're doing is so impactful.
Well, how do people find you?
Really easy way is through our website, zoozfitness.com. We're on all the social media, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. ZOOZ Fitness. I mean, if you hit a search, you'll find us.